cliche, we are told, to call it a global village now, but that's what the world has become. There are students without borders, those without any boundaries. This is a time when more Indian students are going abroad to study than ever before, and a large number of foreign students also looking at education opportunities in India. That's what we're looking at today at the Sharda University campus just outside New Delhi. Of course, a group of young students and faculty who've taken out time to speak to us here today as part of the program. We'll get started right away. Let me start by asking you, this is a campus which is very vibrant as far as its foreign students are concerned. You've perhaps studied in a schooling environment, if I'm right, which has been largely domestic students or students from India. How do you believe, for someone like you, how do you believe that this really opens you up to a world within a world?
When I was in school, it was quite different. Right after I came to college, it changed entirely. Interacting with so many foreign students and so many students from different nationalities, it actually changed my perspective to a lot of things. I have got to know so much about other countries, especially about Nigeria and countries from where my friends are coming, that I've learned a lot. So yeah, it's... Right.
And it's this kind of student-to-student interaction which is just so sort of interesting and so important. Let me ask you, how did you choose India as a destination to study, and what's the experience been like?
Okay, first of all, looking at multinationals in the world, Indians I believe have very good managerial skills. Because if you look at top companies, you find out that Indians have a top representative in the company. So I just felt, okay, I should try out their management style and see how it's going to fit into myself. So I just decided, okay, let me go to India and see how it is. And it has been a very, very good experience. I've learned time management. I've learned how to be very brisk in doing my things, and it's been very good generally. Right. Yes.
Right, and this is absolutely wonderful to hear that it's going so well for you. And you're right, from Google to Microsoft, there are Indians, of course, leading firms in both places. Well, also with us, Professor Mukesh Chaturvedi, Dean School of Business Studies here. Professor Chaturvedi, thanks so much for joining us today. When we look at this kind of a campus, when we hear these kind of student experiences, wanting to be part of this great Indian education dream, part of campuses like this to enhance their future, looking at top Indian role models and saying, hey, if we go there, we have a strong chance. How do you believe this is a new scenario from, say, where we were 15 years ago?
If you compare it with 15 years back, when it came to education in India, let me remind all of us that the institutions were very few. The globalization was very limited. I would believe that there would be only the top few institutions which would have very few foreign faculty and students coming over, right. And that too for a very short time. Today's scenario, in fact, in Sharda University and at SBS, we are very proud to say that we have a very large number, almost about 30% plus population of students from abroad or say across the world, and they are here for full-time programs. Right. They are not here for just about a month or some kind of an immersion for a short-term say trip or a study tour. Right. They are here for full-time program. Now, therefore, when they come here, we have to prepare ourselves in a very different manner.
I know, I can imagine. Right?
And it is not only the curriculum, but then the entire campus and the ecosystem, which is supposed to be very supportive, right. Because we know that they're going to be here not only for classroom learning, absolutely. They're going to be here for a kind of a total education. Right. And a very important thing that we have to keep in mind as far as their education here is concerned is that it cannot be just theoretical knowledge alone, because when they go back, let's say not miss the point that they come here to learn, and we believe that they are here only for degree, but when they have to go back, they have to perform.
Absolutely.
So they come with a kind of a mission. Right. It is not just that they are going to be here for 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, but they're going to be here for something very, very valuable, right. And which they will be able to use and apply back home. Right. So we need to take care of the entirety of their stay here. Right. That exactly is the kind of change that I see. Right. And we are very lucky that from the very beginning, we have been able to have this vision and we have been able to prepare ourselves accordingly.
Right.
Thank you.
And Professor Chaturvedi here speaks about preparing a campus. That all those we heard the young lady up there in front say that how it just has opened her eyes, opened herself to a whole new world. What has the experience been for you? You've left your familiar surroundings, you're here. Like Professor Chaturvedi is saying, it's not just what you learn inside the classroom, it's so much what happens outside that's going to be a part of your, shaping your experience in education. What do you believe are the two things that you've gained the most, perhaps?
Well, actually, for the first part is the fun part of India. India have a very diverse culture.
Right.
I got to participate in like a lot of organized cultural activities in the department because we have a diversity club.
Right.
I was part of the kite festival.
I
I
see.
celebrated Holi.
Right.
And I went to a puja that was
Right.
organized in the department.
Right.
It was the first thing I learned.
How
and
wonderful, yeah.
It was lovely.
Yeah.
The Festival of Colors was
Right.
the first week we came, that was
Right.
Holi.
Right.
I was sprayed with a lot of paints. It took me a month to
Yeah,
take
that
it
takes
off
getting
my...
used to, even if you
Yes,
are
yes,
from
yes.
India. So if you're not, I can
Yeah.
imagine, yes.
Yeah, I really
Okay.
enjoyed it. And
Okay.
I actually, my head now is opened. I
Right.
am from the technical background.
Right.
I never knew anything about business.
Right.
It wasn't my thing.
Right.
But right now, all I see is business. Whatever I see it from the business perspective. So
How
I think
wonderful.
it's a good thing for
Yes,
me.
how wonderful. That's exactly the point that was being made earlier, that the learning that goes on in the classroom has to be supplemented with all that's happening outside. What's it been like for you? What's your India experience been like?
Well, I think India is a really diverse place. You see a lot of modernization. So you have your really modern cities, but also if you go a little bit further out, you also see, the rural side, which is really good. But I think the two things that I have learned a lot is just the acceptance of different cultures all like
Right.
merging into one.
Right.
And the thing is, I mean, needless to say, anywhere you go, there's going to be good things and bad things that
Sure,
you learn. So you're
sure.
going to have good experiences and bad experiences.
Right.
But for me personally, I've met some really cool, like amazing people
Right.
that I would have probably not if I had not come
Absolutely.
here. So for me, it's something that I cherish and something that, you learn from people and you learn from your environment. And it really is, your experiences, because there's so much that textbooks can teach you.
Right.
And I think one thing that I really appreciate about coming to India is that just the opportunity that I'm getting compared to that of my home country.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, and there's a lot of exposure.
Right.
And I think, your view of what you see on the media of India
Right.
and when you actually live it,
Right.
it's very different
Right.
in good and bad ways.
That's why they say
So,
don't always believe everything that you
exactly.
hear and don't believe journalists in particular on everything that they say. But Professor Chaturvedi, very quickly, when we talk about integration, there is of course a great need, like the point young man made about being made to feel welcome, a part of everything, not just in the classroom but outside, be it celebrating Holi, like he said, or going for puja festivals. How much of a conscious effort really do you think campuses make, and I'm not just talking about yourself, but ought to make to reach out to students like this?
See, we can talk about the classroom situation first. We are very conscious that when we distribute these students over the sections, we have a kind of an equitable spread.
Right, the right mix. As
The
they
right
say.
mix.
Right.
In fact, we have heard complaints in the past if there are too many foreign students in a section.
Sure.
So
That
they
they want to
want
mingle.
They want to mingle. Two, within a section, when we give them the group task, we ensure that there are mixed groups, because collaborative learning would be a very
Is
important
very
part
important.
of it.
And I think that there are two things happening here. One, of course, is great for the foreign students. B, like we heard, it's also a great opportunity for for Indian students really to sort of sample the world and its students as they're going to see. Are you from here?
Yeah, I'm from Bhutan.
Sorry?
Bhutan.
Oh, and what's it been like for you? You're sort of still closer to us physically.
And for me, the greatest challenge for me was to speak in Hindi and understand Hindi. Okay, it has been 3 years for me over here, and for me to understand and speak in Hindi was the challenge. And
Okay.
now, if you ask me anything in Hindi, then it would be, I can speak equally to the national students.
Oh, that's wonderful. Aapko acha lag raha hai?
हाँ, अच्छा लग रहा है.
That's really nice. So, How did you sort of conquer the language or master the language? How did you sort of like...
I have Indian friends.
I see.
I have a friend from Haryana, and I can understand Haryanvi too.
Right.
So
Fantastic. That's better than many of us. If
Actually, from the integration point of view, I see myself as a global citizen and also being collaborative. My colleagues are very idealistic, they are welcoming, we share ideas, and I see myself as a global citizen with global mindset. Through this, I have this idea that I'm going ahead of the peak of my career, that here is a global family, and I see myself as a united, responsive family.
Right.
Yes.
That's absolutely wonderful, because that's the idea, and that is perhaps why just so many, Indian students, like I said, when they go out or they want to go out and we ask them, why are you so keen on doing this? Their constant response is because we want to experience students from other parts of the world. We want to see their learning. We want to interact with them. We want to know what they're all about. So ma'am, if I could, sort of bring you in at this stage. This is, of course, coming back to creating those global students. These are students clearly without boundaries, like students should be. They're all one, they've all got one aim, which is learning.
Yes, actually, I think that our students, Indian students, they in fact learn so much from the different students which are coming to our Sharda University. I really like, in fact, from Nigerian students, I want my students to look hardworking. They are hardworking. Even at initially, some of us may think that they are slow learners, but they actually have in-depth knowledge of a particular topic. Till then, they will not stop. And if I talk about Afghanistani students, I really appreciate the way they will be after you till they don't understand a thing, and the sincerity of Bhutanese, the actual there is a blend of all these, and that is going to provide a platform for our students to learn from them. And I hopefully think that our students are learning all this from the different kind of students we have in the university. And that's going to provide a platform from them. If they go to other countries to work, that will provide a platform for them to work.
And that's, of course, a very important part of education. There's so much that you can learn from people right next to you from any part of the world. What's it been like for you, for instance?
I've always felt that India is like my second home.
Yeah, oh, is it?
Since
okay.
childhood, all the time, Bollywood and then Indian songs and
what about cricket? Usually Bollywood and cricket go hand in hand. We're always told that.
I used to play cricket.
I see.
I loved it, but
I see.
then.
Okay.
So I was really close to India. I was always following it up, and I lived in Dubai, so
I see.
I've already been in a diverse place. So I was always thinking before coming to India, what it's going to be living in an environment where I might not see any diverse people, or leaving my friend, and I just kind of got close to their culture and the way they were living. But since I came here, I see that we have more people in Dubai over here. I've met many people in this country, to be honest, and learning their language and their culture, and especially trying their food. It's all been great, to be honest. Yeah.
It's all part of the great Indian experience, as it were. What about you, if I could just get you? Are you a student here?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
For me, because since Sharda is a place which can accommodate around 40 students from 40 different countries, where we have the opportunity to learn so many things. So we thought it's the nearest place where we can learn so many things, and why the things which we can get from outside, we can get the same thing from Sharda. So why to spend and go miles when we get the opportunity to learn the same thing from Sharda? So that's the reason why I'm here.
That, of course, is, I'm sure it's sort of music to your ears when she said that we don't need to sort of go out, and it's, we can get the experience from right here. We're just going to slip into a quick break, but ma'am, if I could just ask you, I'm sure a lot of effort goes into making it the kind of vibrant, campus that it is, making all these students reach out and say, we can do it here. And this is going to give us the same kind of platform or learning that we could perhaps learn with the best. The two things very quickly, ma'am, do you believe that contribute to this kind of a feeling?
So one thing we constantly have to be very conscious of is how to adapt the pedagogy.
Right.
So let's say we are right now running a dramatics workshop, and the script that they were using was primarily in Hindi.
Right.
And the international students who had registered, and we had a very heterogeneous group because we encourage international students to be a part of such activities. They were feeling left out. So we had to intervene, and then the instructor had to have a parallel script in English.
Right.
And now we have the plays in Hindi because that is the language of comfort. But we have a parallel narration in English.
I see.
So those are the kinds of things we have.
Small things, but they're very key. They sort of make a student feel that yes, they think about me, they think about us and the challenges that we would face. So, so someone might say that it's not, the top thing, but I would imagine that if I were in their place, it would make a whole world of difference because it makes you feel that you reached out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that's the kind of conversation that we are having here. We're slipping into a quick break. Back with lots more. Don't go away.